Hello and welcome to everyone watching out there. This is Sherwood Productions. I am Mr. Plane and I'm joined by Mr. Forever. And this is what we're calling Rocket League AP Government Edition here at Sherwood Productions. And what we really want to do here is just get our community and everyone who wants to watch a little taste and a little learning about what AP Government is all about. And in this episode, we're going to be detailing the first unit of AP Government called Foundations, which is really about what got this country started. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Forever.
You know, Mr. Plane, we can talk about the start of our country all we want and the start of our great Constitution, but at some point we're going to have to touch on the Bill of Rights. Jay.
That's very true. It's a major integral part of the foundation of the Constitution.
Absolutely it is. And you see the first goal of the game being scored here against us, but I think that leads us straight into our first discussion, which is about the First Amendment and the rights that entail. Jay, if you had to choose what your first favorite, geez, I can't talk, Jay. What your favorite First Amendment right is, what would that be?
I think I'd have to go with maybe freedom of the press, because, I mean, just recently, as we saw in the 2016 election, the press was a major topic, as we had a lot of talk of fake news, fake media, and I mean, it really just kind of goes to show how much power media has in 21st century society. I mean, it's where people are getting their news, and if people are allowed to say whatever they want in the press, I mean, it's really a pivotal part of where the country is right now. And it's amazing that the First Amendment really guarantees that the press can say whatever they want to say, regardless of whether the government officials agree with it. What would you say about Mr. Forever for your First Amendment favorite right?
You know, Jay, as well put as that was, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and my favorite is one that is not too popular among people, and that is the freedom to petition. And I will tell you why, Jay. You know, our Constitution is the oldest living document for a government in modern culture, and I just really think that's a special thing. But as the story goes, Jay, all good things must come to an end, and at some point our government will either turn sour or something will happen, and it's not going to be in favor of the people. And I think it's really special how we as people have the right to speak out against our government and try to change things for the better. I just think that's really special power that we all share.
Yeah, I can totally see that. And with that, I also just want to give a shout out to all of the Hurricane Harvey victims out there. And I also want to give a kind shout out to Mr. Review, and we hope he's watching out there. And bringing it back to our talk of the Constitution as well as the Bill of Rights, I want to bring up this concept that students talk about with informal versus formal powers. And I think a relevant concept that we can talk about with that would be the presidential pardon that we saw on Friday, with the controversial pardoning of Joe Arpaio. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is that the power of pardon is actually a given power in the Constitution, and it is explicitly given, making it a formal power. Mr. Forever, could you help our community out there and talk us through what an informal power might be?
Yes. So, at its basis, the definition of an informal power is one that is not explicitly stated in the Constitution. And sort of one of our best examples of that is the necessary and proper clause, Jay. And pretty much what that states is that the government can make a law as it sees fit, as it sees that it is necessary and proper. And I mean, like I was saying before, I obviously think that freedom of petition is a very important thing, but in the end, our government has lasted so long, and I mean, I for one do for the most part trust our government to make those necessary decisions to pass certain laws that are, quote, necessary and proper. And I just think that's a really, really special informal power that maybe not too many people know about.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. And I also want to point out how tonight, if you can see on my car, I actually have a police hat. And I'm wearing that in spite of we're kind of to represent the executive branch of the government who enforces the laws, as you can see with the police hat. Something I just wanted to do to help, maybe the visual can help with understanding government a little bit more. And as you all know, executive branch is kind of part of that system of separation of powers that goes along with checks and balances. Keeps the government at bay. No one branch has all the power, basically. Anything you want to add, Mr. Forever?
You know, Mr. Plane, I'm sad that we couldn't get the win this game, but in the end, I think we, as long as the AP government community, are the real winners here, as we learn a little bit more about our great country.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I think it's just inspiring, really, to take a look at this and think about living in a country and understanding the foundations that our country is built on. And, you know, as teens, it's kind of important to begin to understand as we're really going to take part in this lifestyle that is becoming a citizen. And with that, I think, any last words you want to say, Mr. Forever?
Mr. Plane, it's been a pleasure as always, and I'm very, very thrilled that you included me in tonight's broadcasting.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank everyone for joining us, and signing off for Mr. Forever, Mr. Plane. Thank you, everyone, once again.